Hey guys, welcome to the video. So I'm prepping my D8T for a run this week, and I wanted to swap out the radio box so I could use my lipo receiver batteries, and I wanted to bring you guys along with this process. So as you know, the HB D8T and the new HPI Vorza 2022 Nitro Truggy is the same platform with a few subtle changes. Some of the plastic parts are different, the motor mount is different, and the radio box. So it got me thinking that maybe I could solve my receiver battery issue by using the Vorza part itself. So I went ahead and bought it. It's the HPI 160175 radio box for the Nitro, and there are some subtle changes compared to the HB version, and I've already test fitted it, and it fits exactly in the same location as this one. So the holes have been carried over. So this is something I really like about HPI, how everything's very modular, and within the same line of vehicles you can just swap over parts and things like that. So this is something I also like to incorporate into my design, so everything can be used to save money and to reuse any off-the-shelf items, as you say. Yeah. So yeah, when this was designed, I believe the hump pack was in mind. So the size of the hump pack fits in here perfectly. But as things have progressed over the years with lipos and so forth, this no longer can be used. So yeah, I noticed that this has some subtle changes. The size of this part here where the battery goes is much wider, so from this point this way they've expanded it, increased the size. Also where the receiver goes, it's been expanded and the switch has been moved here. The servos locations have been just copied over or carried over. These plastic parts here where the screws go into to hold the servo have now been incorporated into the part itself, which is very convenient. And of course they have the brand name on there now. With this one I've had to raise it up 2 millimeters so it would line up with the center diff assembly and the linkages. So we will see if I need to do that here as well. So let's go ahead and install this into the vehicle and see if there are any differences. Okay, so I have removed the 5 screws, the M4 by 10 screws from the chassis, and now I can pull out the radio box. So you can see they're pretty much the same apart from those differences I mentioned. And yeah, it just fits nicely right in and lines up with all the holes. Even where the gear is, it has a nice cutout for the gear as well. So yeah, complete copy with a few adjustments. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and transfer the servos over into this radio box, and then I will show you once again. Just to let you know, I have used the Vorza rear dog bone, and then I have the cup joint here as well to replace the stock DB8 CVD drive shaft. So this will be the first time I've used that. I've also got the Kyosho universal center for the front. It's 82 millimeters, and here's the part number. So yeah, I feel like the front pin wears quite quickly, especially at this end of the dog bone. So I've decided to replace it with a universal center shaft. Just you may have to add shims between the between the drive shaft and the pinion. I just used the standard 8 by 10 shims that you can use with your Savage, just to make sure the pinion doesn't go into the diff case. So this is kind of a problem with these bulkheads. The pinion, if it has play, it can move this way, and the spinning diff case here, it will grind into it. It actually happened to my Draco diff, so I had aluminium all through my bulkhead on my Vorza Flux. So I cleaned it out and just put it back in, and then shimmed that pinion. So make sure you keep an eye on those, because if they do come loose, they will damage your diff case. Okay, anyway, so yeah, I will transfer these over and then show you the result. Okay, so I have fitted my servos into the HPI radio box, and I found a few more things that are different between these parts. First one is the location of the antenna is here on the HPI one, and at the rear on the stock one. So you'll have to make a new hole in your body to run this radio box, which is no big deal. Another thing is the geometry around here has been changed. You can see it comes out a bit more on the stock one, but on the HPI one it's flush. And they've also added more material down here to act as a guard. So this is around the center diff, so it'll protect the servo, the throttle servo more. It actually reaches down flush to the chassis, so that's good. The holes where you put the wiring through, no change there. But yeah, the wiring still clears the front drive shaft, so that's good. Unfortunately, I've had to, maybe it's my servo, I'm not sure, but I've had to add 3mm spacers under my throttle servo to bring it up, and now the linkage is running flush or parallel with the top plate, which is good. Yeah, so other than that, and also I couldn't help myself but upgrade the screws from my own supply, so now they are all consistent. I guess my OCD coming out a little bit. Yeah, so I'm using Sanwa PGS CX servos. They are programmable, and you can update the firmware and change some settings using the multi-setting gear, I think it's called. I've always used Sanwa stuff. I like to support Japanese companies as much as I can. Yeah, okay, so now I'm going to start adding the receiver and wiring it up and doing some checks with the battery and so on. Okay, so let me get set up and then I'll bring you back and we'll continue with that. Okay, so I've got my Sanwa RX47T receiver in here. This is actually discontinued, but when it was available, it was probably the cheapest, most affordable receiver they had. So I got a few of them and I put them in most of my vehicles. I'm using the Sanwa MT4. This is actually replaced now by the MT5, I believe. It has more functionality. I haven't really checked it out that much, but yeah, there is a new one. This is no longer available. But I use this for all my RCs, so I've got all of them saved in this memory. So there's about 15 so far, so that's doing pretty well. Okay, so I've got the receiver in. 1 to turn, 2 to burn, as they say. So steering 1, throttle 2, and then I've got an extension here that will go through here, attached to the receiver, and then the battery will sit here. So let me thread that through. So it goes in here, goes down beside the servo there, in the hole, and up into the receiver. Hopefully it's long enough. And I've marked it negative here with the white mark, just to make sure. There's no markings on this harness, so I didn't want to mix anything up. And then stick that into the negative. I'll just put it into channel 4, it doesn't really matter. Oh wait, I've got this upside down. What an idiot. Wait a minute. So, 1 to turn, that's Y. Negative, down there. And negative. Here we go, okay. Right, and put this into the top one up here. Battery. Plug that right in. Okay, here we go. Okay, and let's see. we just have enough space, so let me just pull that through a bit more. Ooh, it's pretty short. I might have to find another one, I think. Let's see. It should be okay. Just fits in there. Yeah, should be okay. Yeah, goes right beside the throttle servo. Yeah, I will stick this down once I'm done. Yeah, okay, so that's in. And then now, let's just hook up our battery. So negative, negative, there we go. And my radio's already on. There we go. Alright. Throttle. Oh, sorry, it's steering. Steering is moving. Nice. Throttle. So I've already set this up from the last time, so I'm just going to put this in. Let's actually double check this fits on. So it might be a tight fit here. And then, ooh, is it going to fit? I believe I checked. Alright, I might have to turn it over. There we go. I think that's lower there. Oh my god, it's not fitting. Is it? Push it forward. Oh, the washers are in the way a little bit. Okay, wait a minute. Let me just try to do this off camera. Alright, so these washers here are getting in the way, so I need something a bit smaller. Yeah, so let me figure something out here. Maybe I'll just take them off and have no washers. Alright, let me come back. Okay, so I have removed the washers on these screws only, so now the lid will fit over. So just make sure your battery's pushed over this way as much as you can, and then you can push this over until you hear a click. Yeah, and then push down, and then you can put the pin in here. It's a bit of a tight fit still, but yeah, so that will work. Yeah, okay, so let me get it back into the vehicle and set up the steering and throttle horns and so on. Okay guys, so we have finished with our setup of our linkages, our servo horn and our throttle servo horn, and yeah, that completes the install into the HB D8T. So I recommend using this. You can use more batteries here, and let me just give you the dimensions of the battery that fits well. So we have 31 by 32 by 31 by, let's say, 56.5. Okay, this will fit. Anything bigger than that, you will have some trouble. Okay, all right, so that's the end of the video. Thank you very much. I will continue to set this up for tomorrow's bash, and yeah, any questions or comments, please leave them below, and thank you for watching. See you in the next one.